Sheshadri Chari, Maroof Raza and Colonel RSN Singh from the Indian side, Moshraff Zaidi, Commodore Jamal Hussain and Admiral Javed Iqbal from the Pakistani side. Moshraff Zaidi, we were talking about this a few days back. And what we said would happen is exactly what has happened, that when you face the counter-attack relentlessly from a very sort of committed border security force from the Indian side, you were forced into submission, right? So your submission at the border, which is good, that you stopped the firing, has only proven that you failed miserably in translating all those hyperbolic words into action. This entire exercise of yours of trying to escalate matters, the whole world didn't look at you. You faced a battering from the Indian side. Do you think, Mr. Zaidi, that it will make Pakistan understand the futility of doing something like this ever again?
Arnab, you seem so overjoyed at the fantasy construction that you've just laid out for the viewers. I don't want to take this happiness away from you.
Because there was relative calm on the border today,
which
would make me believe
this one moment,
that there was submission
arising from a fantasy that you've constructed. I can't take that away from you. I'm a strong believer in good relations between Indians and Pakistanis, and this little spark of joy in your heart, I couldn't possibly take that away from you.
Mr. Zaidi, as you know, there has been a period of relative calm in the last 24 hours after your unprovoked attack on Indian civilians and border posts in the last 1 week now. Have you realized, my question was, have you realized the futility? Have you realized the futility of what you just did? That's all. I mean,
have you realized the futility? Turn that around and ask you. I'm happy to turn that around and ask you about the futility of what you're doing, which is provoking an entire nation into a conflict that doesn't exist. Pakistan never wanted a war with India. Pakistan doesn't want a war with India, and Pakistan wants to move forward with trade, normalization, better relations between people, more cultural exchange. Those are the things Pakistan wants.
Mr. Zaidi, you spoke about a little bit of joy in my heart. Let me say that I would be thoroughly delighted if it were to be true that you have realized the futility of what happened. But Maroof, let me get you in. Does it appear to you that at least temporarily the Pakistanis, after having 78 of their border posts targeted, thousands of Indian shells, and places like Harpal, Dhamala, Charwa, Jandhkot, Hot Spring and Beduri in Rawalkot, all these places, according to Pakistani media themselves, devastated by Indian ammunition. Do you think the Pakistanis have been numbed, and do you think they've been numbed for a long time or numbed for the moment by the extent of the Indian response?
Arnab, I'll go straight to the point. I don't think Pakistan would rest and assume that the futility of such an exercise should not be repeated, because at the core of Pakistan's military preparations against India is to continue to keep the Kashmir issue alive, to continue to keep the border flared up to an extent.
The Kashmir issue is alive because you are an illegal occupant of Kashmir. That's why the Kashmir issue is alive.
Not because of Pakistan. Get into that.
Pakistan has nothing to do. The people of Kashmir are unhappy with you, and you don't have any way of addressing their concerns, and so you keep blaming Pakistan.
Hold it. Let me complete my point. I can give you para-chapter and verse of the UN resolution.
You're holding Kashmir.
No. I've been asked the question. I was not speaking. I was not speaking when you were speaking. I was not speaking when you were speaking. Give me the courtesy of listening to me. What I'm trying to give is the Indian perspective. You may not agree with it.
Illegal occupation.
Sir, you answer my question. What about the jackboots that dominate what we call Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? What about the jackboots that dominate the northern areas? What about your jackboots that dominate Baluchistan?
Where's the Hurriyat conference in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? Where's the insurgency? Where's the 80,000 bodies? Where's the thousands of widows?
Is this what you are alluding to?
Where are they?
That the firing was basically to put your point across.
And Mirpur are happy.
No.
The people
Is this
in
what you're
Srinagar
alluding
are not
to?
happy.
Is this what you're alluding to? That the firing was basically done
that India is
Mr. Zaidi,
the negotiating table. You can
Mr.
forget
Zaidi,
it.
you can, no, one second. No, Mr. Zaidi, no, 1 minute. Mr. Zaidi, you can come in once in a while, but I don't think you can heckle. You see, don't heckle him. He's answering a question. I think he didn't heckle you when you were speaking. You can always intervene. But what you're resorting to right now, Mr. Zaidi, appears to be heckling. Don't do that, please. Thank you.
I'm done.
Go ahead.
Arnab, I want to make 4 quick points. One is, at the heart of Pakistan Army's doctrine is to continue to keep the Kashmir issue alive, failing which they lose their political and social standing in Pakistan. 2, it is Pakistan's design for the last couple of months to try and internationalize Kashmir, whether we look at it in terms of assertions that have been made within Pakistan, at the United Nations, and now crossing by firing on the border and the LoC. Thirdly, please understand that we have no motivation to fire across the border or the LoC because we have never shown aggressive intent vis-a-vis Pakistan. It is Pakistan which has based its doctrine on the fact that India is an aggressor and that they are nuclear-powered state, so the world will come to their rescue if push comes to shove. This has come in the assertions of your defense minister's statement in the last 24 hours, that the word aggressor and nuclear-powered states has been used. And finally, the point I wish to make, that there is no other substitute for the Pakistani military establishment to continue to be a prominent element in Pakistan's policy-making elite, with the exception of raising tempo on the border and the LoC.
Yeah, but
you've just done that, but
Sheshadri Chari,
you have miscalculated. You have miscalculated India's ability to respond, because this government is willing to call your bluff.
You see, Nawaz Sharif had a meeting, Sheshadri Chari, with some senior members of his army, the same army that had mediated in the crisis between him and Imran Khan. Now, what appears after what Arun Jaitley said yesterday, that we are going to make the cost of your, what you do unaffordable, they seem to have pulled back for the moment. Mr. Chari, do you think that they have pulled back because they've realized they can't do anything anymore, because they've realized their weaknesses, or because they did not expect the extent of the Indian counter-response? And how long will they behave themselves before they begin again, in your view, Mr. Chari?
I think Arnab, I think the Pakistani army has realized the futility of their action. And they have decided to pull back. But let me warn you, this pulling back is also very temporary phenomena.
Okay.
Basically, the Pakistani army had two objectives. One objective was to push into India about 500 to 600 to say 800 infiltrators.
That's right.
And then vitiate the atmosphere in Jammu and Kashmir, so that India is not able to hold elections there. Even otherwise, I doubt, with the kind of floods that we saw in Jammu, I don't know how far we will be able to hold an election as of now. But even if we are able to hold an election after the winter, that is the time when about 800 infiltrators would have already come, and they would have really vitiated the atmosphere. That was one of the intention of the Pakistani army. The other intention was the Pakistani army had suddenly got very much emboldened because of mainly 3 things. Number one, when the Pakistani Prime Minister decided to honor the Modi's visit, Modi's invitation, and come for his swearing-in ceremony, they immediately responded in Herat. So, and the Pakistani Prime Minister could not really answer that. He could not stop that. The second was the snub that Pakistani army got in Modi's US visit. And in between these 2 things, the most important element that happened was, when there was a political crisis in Islamabad, it was the Pakistani Prime Minister who had to go to the army and seek its intervention.
Yeah.
So these 3 things emboldened the army, and they came out. But you were now accused of being very happy that India has been able to inflict a cost on Pakistani army. Arnab Goswami, you are not the only person who is happy. I am sure the Prime Minister of Pakistan is the happiest person because of the defeat that his own army has had in the hands of the Indian army.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The same army that has virtually reduced him to being a puppet,
Arnab,
to being a puppet prime minister. No, the reason people are happy today.
It's been a hectic day.
No, 1 second. The reason people are happy today, Commodore Jamal Hussain, let's get you in.
I'm happy.
Commodore Jamal Hussain, let's get you in.
Yes,
the reason people are happy today, at least briefly, is because this time Pakistan tried everything in the last couple of weeks. It went to the UN, it went crying to America, nobody listened. Then it tried the escalation. Then it tried the escalation. Yesterday, they even tried to pull out this, godforsaken nuclear word. You threaten to play with your Chinese toys every time that you... there was no attention that was given anywhere in the world to you. So it must be, at the end, all that you got, Commodore Hussain, all that you got was a proper Indian pummeling on the border.
Cutting off.
And you have to now pull back. So, Commodore Hussain, what are the lessons for you?
Thank you, Arun, for your...
What are the lessons for Pakistan?
Okay, a very loaded question.
No, it's not loaded, it's just an observation.
Arun, may I say something? Would you like my opinion?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. It's very, very loaded question, and let me give you from my point of view. First, I'll be very candid by saying that I am not privy to exactly what's going on along the border, and my information and my judgment is based on what I have heard on our television, what I have heard on your television. And the things, undisputed facts are that there is a heavy firing by both sides. And the biggest casualties are the civilians on both sides, although there may have been a few military casualties also. Also, we are accusing each other who started the fight. Now, for me to decide who is the culprit, I normally do what we call in our parlance a wargaming. Let us first assume that what India is saying is right, that Pakistan is the one is firing. The question is, why have we taken this step? As one of your participants has said, that because we want to help cross-border India. Excuse me, your border is so heavily guarded and fenced that I will need a man-pad to go across India. So that doesn't make much of a sense to me. The other sense is that we are all suicidal maniacs. Pakistanis, we are all suicidal maniacs, and already we are fighting a full-fledged war in our western border, and we've got to be mad absolutely to start such thing in our eastern border and to totally jeopardize the security. Okay, let me finish. Please let me finish.
Colonel RSN Singh, let the Commodore Hussain complete.
What I am saying is that today,
if you are not going to let me finish, then why are we having this debate? Just hear my point.
Colonel Singh, let
please do not interrupt me.
I do not want to sound jingoistic or I am not smug, but I'll request my honorable Pakistani guests that this is the time to introspect for you. Please stop this unleashing this proxy package, which comprises infiltration, terror, sabotage, subversion, destabilization, counterfeiting, and followed by talks. What was happening earlier is that after every terrorist incident, there used to be talks, which was providing oxygen to this whole business of proxy war, and I'm so happy that this government has had the gumption to call off these talks till you stop this terror. And the second thing, let me tell you what is happening in Pakistan. Mr. Chari correctly said that Mr. Nawaz Sharif is the happiest person today because you wanted to dislodge him by carrying out an attack on Herat. When Herat failed, then you unleashed Imran Khan and Qadri. And when that failed, now you have started manipulating the incidents on the border. So he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right that you want to see the end. You wanted to see the end of Moshraff because Nawaz Sharif, because of Moshraff, because of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan.
No, you see,
and also I am told there are issues between the army and Nawaz Sharif
honestly,
with regards to supply warheads to Saudi Arabia. So this is the internal dynamic that has been
I feel sorry for you.
you see, what
I don't want to get into a slang match with you.
Commodore Jamal Hussain.
That's your point of view.
No, Commodore.
Yeah, please
Commodore
listen
Jamal
to...
Hussain, just 1 minute.
Yes,
no,
yes.
one second. Commodore Jamal Hussain.
Please. Yes, okay.
What are we discussing today? We are discussing...
You asked me a loaded question.
Commodore Hussain, no, I am not even... Commodore Hussain,
and you want me to say...
Commodore Hussain, what happened is... Let me just say this and then you can respond as much as you want. Till yesterday, day before, 3 days back, you were all, we will hit back at India, etc., etc., etc. Today, what has happened is, you have been forced to submit at the border. You know how much we hit you. You know how much we targeted you. You know exactly the damage that has been caused on the Pakistani side. We hope you learnt your lesson, that's all. And now that this lesson has been learnt, all the Indian participants are saying is, please, for God's sake, introspect in the future. Don't give lectures on desiring peace. Nawaz Sharif says, our desire for peace should not be misunderstood. What peace were you desiring when you forced 30,000 Indian civilians to be evacuated and moved into camps? Right? What peace were you desiring when you destroyed 120 Indian homes and structures? Did you not expect India to respond? Commodore Hussain, we responded, and we responded very firmly. You can laugh out there, you can find it amusing. I can tell you, your army does not find it amusing anymore. They are hurting today. You can ask them. Ask your army friends.
Do you want my response, or would you like to just force your view onto me?
One-way traffic.
Do you want my response?
No, not one-way traffic, Admiral Iqbal. I'm telling you that you know what happened to you.
No, you don't give time to reply.
No.
Do you think we have come to endorse?
I can tell you, you know what happened.
You know what happened to you on the border.
Have you called me over here as your guest to give me my point of view, or have you called me here to give me a lecture? If you have called me here to give a lecture, you're wasting your time, Mr. Arun Goswami. Don't waste my time, because this is absolute nonsense what you are saying. I do not... Hold on, listen to what I am saying. The main argument right now is we are accusing you, you started the war.
No, there is no accusation.
You are accusing us, we started the fighting.
No, there is no accusation.
And I'm looking at it from, if we have started it, we have to be maniacs, suicidal maniacs.
But you have proven yourself. You are very often suicidal maniacs. Why would you have kept Osama bin Laden on your soil and supported Hafiz Saeed? That only those who are suicidal would do things like that.
Yeah, that is right. That is why you are, we are the ones who are asking, let's stop this nonsense, and you are the one who is saying our guns will speak.
No, you had Osama bin Laden, then you have Dawood, then you have Mullah Omar, then you have Ayman al-Zawahiri. Why only a suicidal country would do something like that? I mean, no reasonable, rational country.
For God's sake, don't go history. It was your Hindu
Osama was found in 2011. It's contemporary history.
Let's not talk about these issues, okay?
No, Osama was kept by your people.
Mahatma Gandhi was killed by a Hindu.
Osama bin Laden was kept on your soil, patronized by your army.
Who killed Mahatma Gandhi?
So don't lose your composure.
Who killed Mahatma Gandhi?
Don't lose your composure.
No, you are
the fact is that
you are not trying to ask me.
Okay, so I'm asking you. I'm asking you who killed. My question is simply. Admiral Iqbal always likes to. Admiral Iqbal.
आपके पास लाइनें ठीक नहीं हैं.
Admiral Iqbal, आपको आवाज आ रही है? बात तो ये है that you wanted to repeat Kargil all over again. It didn't even go that far. Yes, Admiral Iqbal. I can't hear you. I think I lost the line with you.
Arnab.
Maroof was saying some...
Arnab.
I'm going to come back to you, Admiral. I can hear your lips moving. I can't hear you yet. Yes, Maroof.
Arnab, see, the point that is not being answered in the last couple of days by your Pakistani guest is what would be India's motivation to escalate tensions on the IB or the LoC? I don't see any logical reason.
You are. Let me answer this question.
We don't have
I will answer this if you allow me.
Sir, please. Sir, Commodore, please let me complete. I'm being realistic.
I will answer your question if you allow me.
Country with aggressive. Sir, let me complete my question. militarily we are seen to be in Pakistan as a country with aggressive, as a country with an aggressive intent that we want to capture Pakistan.
And that's the whole point.
Sir,
this Indian hegemony that's being
Commodore,
constructed.
Commodore,
Commodore,
all the
India
words,
gets to ask the question,
all the words,
and then India gets to answer the
Commodore,
question.
Commodore, please let me complete. Commodore, please let me complete. Commodore, please let me complete. Commodore, all I'm saying, that you have to deconstruct. You have to deconstruct. Commodore Saab, please listen to me. Commodore Saab, at least let me complete my point. All I'm saying is we request you to deconstruct your thinking. Your thinking is based on certain words. Aggressor, Indian hegemony, Indian desire to capture Pakistan, and India's desire to escalate tensions where Pakistan would be forced to use nuclear weapons. Those have become articles of faith in your military doctrine.
Which in this case failed, Maroof.
That we do not.
Which in this case failed.
We do not intend to either capture Pakistan or occupy your territory. But we are not going to take any of these aggressive activities on your part lying down anymore. We had a previous government that was pussyfooting around every aggressive intent of Pakistan.
Now listen to me.
But now
listen to me. Have the courage to listen to me.
This government has decided
we are not here to
hit you
listen to you.
disproportionately.
You should
hit you where it hurts.
also.
So do not escalate matters.
No, this is not the way.
You're not going to get to the end of your story.
Admiral Iqbal, you see what happens is...
Staging.
No, one second. There is something called a green book. Admiral, hear me. Admiral Iqbal, hear me.
Listen to me.
Admiral Iqbal, hear me. I have a question for you. I have a question for you, Admiral Iqbal. सवाल है मेरा आपको आप सुन लीजिए प्लीज मेरा सवाल है आप सुन लीजिए
नहीं होता है जवाब तो आप
एडमिरल इकबाल आपको एक सवाल करना चाहता हूं आप सुन लीजिए प्लीज
you are putting all the blame on us and then you are saying admit you are at fault.
Pakistan
this is no way to start it.
And Pakistan will teach you such a lesson that you will remember forever.
Now, Admiral Iqbal, you're
we've heard that before, sir. We've heard that before.
Why don't
you can keep boasting.
Why
you can keep boasting, but you're writing your own obituary.
Admiral
you are also writing your own obituary. This is BJP drama. This is the BJP chauvinism, which they want to show to the home crowd.
Admiral Iqbal, I can understand. I empathize with your frustration.
It's reality.
Admiral, I empathize. You must be feeling terrible.
Pakistan doesn't care of this drama.
Okay, so Admiral,
believe me,
we haven't even drama nor chauvinism.
Pakistan,
nor you can take shelter
Pakistan submission
in nuclear weapons and carry on with your proxy war.
I wonder.
We will address all three.
They say for us.
We will address the proxy war end of the spectrum. We will address conventional war. And if need be, we will change our nuclear doctrine.
If you have five times the size and you are making this drama.
Admiral Iqbal, let me share a fact here. Let me share a fact here. Admiral, 1 second. Let me share a fact here. 1 minute.
What are you talking? I say, what are you talking?
Admiral, listen to me for 1 minute. You see, there is something...
You call Pakistani. You call Pakistani to answer to your question and then you stage a drama to show to your public that they have submitted.
Sir, this
talk like a dialect should take place.
Have you decided to persist with your proxy war? Is this the message that you are giving?
Come on, the Kashmir will never go away.
So you will continue with your proxy war. We will take you off until you stop. There will be no talks. We do not want to talk to any representative of a failed state, of an irresponsible state which brandishes nuclear weapons.
Sir, this
you are cowards.
Admiral
Iqbal. Cowards.
Admiral Iqbal.
Yes.
Bunch of cowards.
Only cowards indulge in proxy war.
You are a bunch of cowards.
Only cowards push
the public.
militants
we are having a serious
and terrorists inside.
Now, Admiral Iqbal, I completely empathize with your frustration today.
I pity on you.
I request you to reassess. I request you to reassess.
What are you doing to your
1 minute,
country?
Colonel Singh. Just 1 minute, Colonel Singh. You know, I forgive our Pakistani guests anything they say today because I empathize. Admiral Iqbal, I empathize with your frustration. All of India empathizes with your frustration today.
All of India.
Because I understand how you feel after 71, 65, all these years to go through this all over again. My question to Moshraff Zaidi. My question to Moshraff Zaidi is this. My question to Moshraff Zaidi is this. Don't do this. Don't do rhetoric. Let's go factual. Moshraff Zaidi, your own military leaders have endorsed something called the Green Book. Okay, because, you know, frankly, all Pakistanis, you know, they come and say, no, we don't do this counter-terror. We don't use these terrorist groups, etc., etc. Your own military leaders endorsed something called the Green Book, which is a guideline that Pakistan Army adheres to, right? Now, you know, it is time to be a little honest about it. You know that all your acts of aggression against India are consistent with what the Green Book prescribes. I give you only one example that, for example, 2002, Brigadier Munir Mahmud explains that the prospect of a conventional war between India and Pakistan appears remote, but the environment looks ripe for a low-intensity conflict kind of situation, so we should go for it. This is in the Green Book. It has said it over the years, and Moshraff has described this Green Book as, quote-unquote, a valuable document for posterity. You get my point? There is no point coming on Indian television and saying we don't do this, right, Maroof? This is all laid out. The Pakistani strategy is laid out now, unless someone like Mr. Zaidi will come and say that this Green Book also, which by the way, people like Ashfaq Kiani have written the foreword to its previous editions. It's all laid out. This is Pakistan. This is the way the Pakistan military behaves. They've been taught to behave in this manner, Maroof. It's a reality.
The question was for me, but then you gave a speech about the Green Book and then you turned it to Maroof. So I'm just trying to understand. My role here is just to sit and look pretty.
Certainly not.
I know that you guys
I think you're doing a good job of that, but that's not the point.
Okay.
I'm only making a point. Maroof understands the Pakistani military quite well, and he may want to share some light on this.
Maroof and Singh Saab and Shri Singh both understand Pakistan.
Okay, so Moshraff, you can reply to that. My question to you is your namesake, Parvez Moshraff, described the Green Book, which tells the Pakistani army how to carry out low-intensity conflict, how to try and fuel some trouble, what to do on the border. You know, it's all prescribed. Moshraff described it as a valuable document for posterity. It's written out. What you're doing right now is consistent with what is in the Green Book. Can you deny that? Can you deny that, Mr. Zaidi? Can you deny that? Can you deny that, Mr. Zaidi?
Neither deny nor confirm it.
Can you deny that?
No, I can neither deny nor confirm.
Oh, cannot deny nor confirm. Now you're talking like a politician. What happened? How, Mr. Zaidi, can you deny it?
Arnab? I'm learning from you. I'm trying to learn from the best.
Is it written in the Green Book that jihad in Kashmir should be given support and religious, regional and linguistic differences should be exploited? Is it written there? Is it written there?
I'm a mere columnist who can.
And in the Green Book aside, Mr. Zaidi. No, 1 second. Mr. Zaidi, the Green Book aside.
I know what.
The Green Book aside.
I know the cost of what you're doing, though.
The Green Book aside, is it true that your own leaders like Zardari and Moshraff have admitted to using terror as an instrument of state policy against India? Come on, Mr. Zaidi, answer me factually.
There's a long history of Pakistanis challenging how Pakistan has conducted itself within Pakistan.
No, not within Pakistan. I'm talking after Kargil. Kargil was within Indian soil. Come on, tell me, Mr. Zaidi. These are facts I put.
I'm saying that the job,
come on, what are you doing this?
Mr.
Zardari said
in undertaking
Mr. Zardari said in 2009, let us as Pakistanis be truthful to ourselves and make a candid admission of the realities. We have used terrorists as strategic assets.
The reason you have me on this show is because I make candid admissions of the reality, but I'm not willing to sit here and endorse the...
So all that I have read out now...
This is what they want.
No, Admiral, all the facts that I've given prove
all the time.
Prove the Indian...
You don't listen. Why don't you listen first?
What do you want?
Admiral,
the 2008 Mumbai attack.
Admiral, do you admit the Green Book exists?
Who discovered where the boy was from?
I say that
it
do
was
you
the
admit
Pakistani press.
that
it wasn't
you guys are doing...
You guys were running around.
Do you admit the Green Book exists?
You're the ones who found
do you admit that you are doing a fake war?
We don't need any lectures on how to fix Pakistan because we're trying to...
Do you admit the Green Book exists?
That has been
what I
funding.
wish Indians would do is actually ask all questions of yourselves.
What
but
are you talking?
You sit
Sheshadri Chari
celebrating.
You do not know
Sheshadri Chari.
A debate.
Arnab, Sheshadri Chari.
You don't know how to conduct a debate.
No, Sheshadri Chari, do you think
you are saying put Pakistani on that side and then show to Indian public that we have taken charge of them.
Admiral Iqbal, just a minute.
Come on, yeah. This is absolutely a petty skirmish, and I tell you that we even do not bother about it, what you are saying.
Okay. So, Sheshadri Chari, from promising a huge response against India, Mr. Chari,
chauvinism.
My question is to Sheshadri Chari of the BJP.
Are you an anchor or are you a prosecuting
my
lawyer?
question is to Sheshadri Chari of the BJP.
Let's clarify this fact.
Mr. Chari, 6 days back, Mr. Chari, 6 days back, Mr. Chari, the Pakistanis were promising to hit back. Today, Mr. Chari, do you believe that this lesson that they have learned, the fact that they have pulled back is going to stay for a long time?
You have got tit for tat. You have been bashed. The Pak guns have silenced you, and you are now trying to portray to the Indian public that we have done this.
What
have you achieved?
Admiral,
what have you achieved?
I know you didn't bargain for this, but you got a very fitting response, and you're now trying to describe it. Mr. Chari, why are our Pakistani guests? Why are our Pakistani guests trying to dismiss what happened last week as a petty skirmish?
1/5 the size of India.
1 second.
Oh, we will never be Bhutan or Sikkim. Forget that.
Okay,
Pakistan will
never.
I would suggest
on the equality.
Okay, let Mr. Chari be heard. Let Mr. Chari be heard.
I would request.
Oh, come on.
I would request your Pakistani guests. I would request the Pakistani guests to peacefully discuss this issue.
Sorry to say, that
I would like to point out one thing to your Pakistani guests. Let us not forget one thing.
I will also like to point out.
You want to know, Arnab. You want to know whether this lesson will sink into the Pakistani army psyche.
Don't put words in our mouth. Never do that.
Arnab, I very much doubt that the Pakistani army will take this lesson. I don't think they will really remember this lesson for long, because the most important element for the Pakistani army, you remember one thing, the political setup can come back to power through democratic elections. The clergy in Pakistan gets lot of money from outside. But the Pakistani army has to survive on only one thing, Hate India campaign. And they have to keep up this Hate India campaign, and every 6 months or 1 year, they have to prove to the Pakistani establishment that they have a relevance. Unless there is a war, unless there is some kind of incident on the border, and unless there is a terror attack in India, Pakistani army does not earn its bread and butter. Therefore, Pakistani army, a radicalized group of elements, has to have a war with India as much as possible. They have cultivated mercenaries who have been employed in Afghanistan. Now with the withdrawal of US, they will have to concentrate only on the western border. So this is a very major problem. It is a political problem within Pakistan.
No, they can answer it, sir, but what our suggestion to you
is the doctrine of the Pakistani army.
No, 1 second. What I'm saying is, sir,
whatever what is happening,
Admiral and Mr. Zaidi, as I said my empathy. I empathize with your...
One simple
loves their
question,
army.
can the Pakistani
public
panelists
loves their army,
their hearts
and you are scared of Pakistani army. Pakistanis love their army, and you are scared of their army.
Now the question is, sir, 1 minute, if you just allow me, please just give me a minute, as I just want to go to Commodore Jamal Hussain out there. You see, Commodore Hussain, the general view in India and across the world now is that next time you have problems within, next time your political parties fight or Nawaz Sharif comes under pressure or maybe, the Americans ignore you, whatever your problems, deal with it internally. If you try and externalize your problems, then what happens? You see, at the end of the day, 1 minute, Mr. Zaidi, my question was to Commodore. My question: Do you think it is advisable, Commodore Hussain, in the future for the Pakistani army or political parties to deal with your problems internally instead of trying to externalize it and do this adventurism on the border, which ended up quite badly for you this week?
Let me ask you a question. Is it all right for you to act as a prosecuting lawyer than as an anchor?
So don't get personal. Answer my question.
Mouth, for God's sake.
I answer my question. Don't get personal.
This is no question. Okay, this is no question. I mean, what do you mean?
Relevant question.
Should I ask you that you should not tell lies? Of course, you should not tell lies. But am I telling lies?
No. My question to you is that
are you an anchor or are you a prosecuting lawyer? I mean, don't insult my intelligence, please.
Commodore Hussain, let me respond to you by just pointing out one fact. One second. I want to put out one fact for Commodore Hussain, which will... One second. I'm asking Jamal Hussain a certain follow-up question.
I'll give you the answer.
No, one second. I got your answer, but Commodore Jamal Hussain, please understand the seriousness of the question. This week, Nawaz Sharif was forced to speak out for the first time about these ceasefire violations after remaining quiet for almost a week. And you know what Imran Khan said? Imran Khan asked Nawaz Sharif, why are you quiet? Because he said you have got interests in India, etc., etc. Clearly, Nawaz Sharif was under... No, 1 minute. Clearly, Nawaz Sharif was under political pressure internally. Would you deny...
SMS Arun Jaitley
would you deny...
make a statement.
Would you deny Commodore Jamal Hussain that...
And thank God for that. Thank God there's...
Would you deny that India...
Would you deny that...
Are you asking...
I'm asking you, Commodore Jamal Hussain.
Are you asking me as a citizen?
I'm asking you, Commodore Jamal Hussain, would you deny that in your country, your Prime Minister was under pressure from political parties recently?
Would you deny that in your country, your Prime Minister was under pressure?
He was. Yes, Commodore Jamal Hussain.
Political parties are under pressure,
Yeah, so do you feel...
that's true.
So
so what?
Now it's over. So
there is political turmoil over here.
That's a big admission. That's a big admission. 1 minute left on the debate. Maroof wants to come back. No, Sheshadri.
One question, please.
Sir.
Maroof is coming back. Yes, Maroof.
I just want to make two general points. One is that whenever there is political scuffle or instability in Pakistan, you will see politicians raise the issue of Kashmir. Whenever the army wants to divert attention from other issues like their battle in the Waziristan or the battle within Pakistan, or want to get back onto the saddle as far as the power politics is concerned, Kashmir will again be revived. So therefore, this is not the end of it. We should be prepared for another round of escalation, maybe a few weeks down the line, because this has been the history. This has been the history of
Sheshadri Chari.
Sheshadri
Chari, how do we? Sheshadri Chari. Therefore, since Sheshadri Chari represents the ruling party, Mr. Chari, how do we remain cautious? How do we remain cautious that this does not repeat itself?
Why would we start it?
Mr. Chari,
what is our motivation? What is our... I've given you your motivation. What is India's motivation? Why would we start it? What is India's motivation? You guys are not able to answer that. What is India's motivation?
And now you got the answer.
Why did we start
Pakistan will hit back.
Sheshadri Chari,
Pakistan will...
Sheshadri Chari, what do we... No, 1 second, Mr. Chari.
Let go Kashmir.
Okay, my last question to Mr. Chari.
You have learned.
Back harder.
Okay, only Mr. Chari. Mr. Chari, how do we remain cautious from here? Mr. Chari.
You have learned it.
Yeah, Mr. Chari.
I'm sure.
Arnab, the point that I want to make is,
Mr. Chari, please, on this.
Mr. Zaidi started off saying, Mr. Zaidi, if you are still listening, please listen. let me pat you on your back. You started off saying that you want peace, trade, commerce and industry between India and Pakistan. We also want it. I think it will be very good for you to go back and tell your political leadership to have the guts to tell the army to go back to the barracks. If they do that, it will be good for both the countries. But if you play into the hands of your army, if you keep on supporting your illogical actions of your army, the result will be what happened in 1971. Your country will break up.
Listen.
You will be shattered into four pieces.
Monologue. Stop monologue.
If that happens,
and listen,
if that happens,
that's none of
it will
your
be very
business.
Good for us.
What we do in Pakistan, that is none of your business. Stop this monologue.
Frankly, we are not
Don't worry about Pakistan.
It is very much our business. It is very much our business.
Don't care what you
It was
think.
part of
You
India.
Stop this.
Someday it will become part of India once again.
I said don't give us
Sir, it is very much
You are
our
so
business.
scared of Pakistan.
Pakistan is our
You are so
business.
scared of Pakistan.
All Pakistanis are our brothers.
Pakistan is our business.
We were one country once upon a time. Before 1947, 14th August, we were one country, and it will again become one country.
All of
Pakistan is our business.
What you experience today, Admiral Iqbal, all the frustration.
It becomes our business.
1 minute, Maroof.
It becomes
Maroof,
our
just a minute.
business.
I have one thing to say to Admiral Iqbal.
It becomes
I have
our
one thing to
business.
say to Admiral
It becomes
Iqbal.
our business
I have
when
just
they
one
divert
thing to say to
attention.
Admiral Iqbal.
When they
Admiral
divert
Iqbal,
attention from domestic turmoil.
Admiral Iqbal, I have one thing to say to you at the very end. Would you please let me say this to you, Admiral Iqbal? Hear this for me. All the frustration you feel today, every bitterness in your heart today which you experience, you would not have felt if you behaved yourself 1 week back. You forced this on yourself, sir. My sympathies are with you. A lot of people would understand the frustration in your heart today, Admiral Iqbal. I thank you all for joining me on this debate on the Newshour tonight.
I'm sorry, BJP, it will not impress us.